podcast you've been looking for all along. Step into the life of urban exploration with guests from around the world. Welcome to No Tracers. Welcome back to the No Tracers podcast. I'm your host here on the show. My name is Kay, just the letter K. I'm also known as No Tracers, no.tracers on Instagram, No Tracers on TikTok, notracers.com, and I'm also on YouTube at just the letter K. So this week on the podcast, I'm speaking with Josh Medsker Photography. Super stoked for you guys to hear his stories, including his scariest story, which is about the time when he parked near some railroad tracks to go into an abandoned place and kind of got caught up by the police and had a whole situation fall apart. And that story is quite the doozy. So I hope you stick around for this episode. Before we get into it, if you're new, please hit the subscribe button so you get notified every Friday when a new episode drops. If you're a veteran listener, if you've been listening for quite some time, or if you've only listened to like one or two episodes and you like the show, please leave a rating and feedback on it so that I know what you like about the show and so that other people looking for podcasts to listen to can read your feedback and take it to heart and check the show out. It means a lot to me. If you do that, take a screenshot of your feedback, DM it to me at no.tracers on Instagram, and I will actually send you a signed photo print as a way of saying thank you for doing that. Before we jump into this episode with Josh, I just need to let you know a few things. First of all, I have a book out called No Tracers, an Urban Explorer's Diary. You can pick up a copy of it at notracers.com. Over there, you can also read my blog, read my stories, see my photos, check out my videos. And if you are hard of hearing or know someone hard of hearing that wants to check the show out, it's actually been transcribed and thrown up on my blog. So if you want to go read the episodes, go check it out at notracers.com. I'm slowly updating those, so give me some time. There's a lot of episodes, like 50 episodes, so that's 50 blog posts that have been transcribed that I have to upload. So give me some time, but we're close to getting them all up. Lastly, I need to thank our partner on this podcast, Liquid Death Mountain Water. If you've never heard of him, well, hey, don't worry. I've got an ad for you in 3, 2, 1. From the streams of the Austrian Alps comes a new kind of water. A water that is sure to raise you from your grave. If you're tired of buying cases of plastic water bottles that contain carcinogens and God knows what else, or if you're trying to lower your waste footprint, Liquid Death comes in beautifully rugged aluminum cans. Murder your thirst with a can of Liquid Death. Check the link in the description and use code just the letter K at checkout for 10% off your order. Liquid Death. Murder your thirst. So if you want 10% off your order at liquiddeath.com, buy a case, buy several cases, and buy a koozie set, and then use code just the letter K at checkout for 10% off your entire order. Thank you guys for checking out this podcast. Without further ado, Josh, please introduce yourself and how long you've been exploring to the No Tracers audience.
Okay, so my name is Josh. It's just my name on Instagram, Josh Medsker Photography, and I've been exploring for about a year.
Nice. So what got you into exploring in the first place? What made you catch this bug?
So I say I've explored for about a year, but really when I was younger, my grandparents lived like out in the middle of nowhere out in the country. We spent a lot of time out there, so we'd just spend a lot of time walking on railroad tracks, walking out in the country, and come across like abandoned houses, abandoned barns, and stuff like that. So when I was younger, I went into a few of those, and just always been intrigued by them, like what's inside, like why they're abandoned and all that, the history of them. So that kind of piqued my interest. So I always kind of been intrigued, and just really didn't really get into it till I moved out here to St. Louis about 6 years ago, and kind of came across some stuff I saw on Instagram, and that really piqued my interest. So that's kind of where it started.
Nice. So for you, when did photography come into play? Like, when did you pick up a camera and start documenting this stuff?
Pretty much right away for me, because I've been doing photography before I started exploring. I used to shoot a lot of music videos back in the day, and kind of dabbled in photography here and there, and got more serious about doing photos and stuff a couple of years ago. So I'd already had a camera and already been taking pictures and all that. So pretty much right away, I knew I wanted to document the places I was going to.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, same for me. I picked up a camera as a kid and I just kind of kept taking photos and making little movies. And, I just kind of got hooked on it. And I love the fact that photography is something that really brings our passion to life. It allows us to capture these incredible places we get to visit. So, can we talk about gear for a second? Like, what kind of gear do you use? What's your camera? And as far as like exploring gear for, up and coming explorers, what are some gear items you would recommend? And this could be like the bag you use, the pair of shoes you wear on your feet, a light, tripod, anything like that.
Right. So I shoot with the Sony A7 II. I have the A7 III as well, but I usually use that more for like portraits and for more serious work. I got the A7 II just to take with me to Bando, so if it gets dinged up or whatever, it doesn't matter. But so I shoot with that, and then my main lens is the 16 to 35 Sony, the f4. That's pretty much all I take with me. I think I got a 50 mil I usually throw in my bag just because it's light, just in case. But yeah, that's my main setup for that. And really, I've had all kinds of cameras. I've switched back and forth from Canon to Sony to Panasonic to Fuji. But pretty much anything they're making now, you can get decent pics with if you know what you're doing. As far as bags go, I have the Brevity Jumper. I saw, you may have seen ads for it. They run ads all the time on YouTube and Amazon and stuff, but it's kind of pricey, but I like it a lot because it's got the bottom half of the bag has like a main compartment for your camera and lenses and all that, and then the top half is just like a regular backpack, so you got room to throw whatever in there, extra socks or snacks or water bottles or whatever. So I like that bag a lot. A good tripod. I hate using tripods. I know a lot of people can't shoot without them, but I hate carrying them and having to set them up. I usually like to shoot pretty fast and on the run, but having a good tripod, like there's some situations where you can't pull the shot off without one if it's super dark or whatever. So having a decent tripod with a good ball head on it is good to have. I had a cheap one for a little bit that I tried to take out just because it was super light and trying to cut the weight down, but it was such a pain to fiddle with and get set up, and then it would slip and move, and it's better just to invest in a decent one. So having that's good. A decent pair of shoes. I got a pair of boots now I wear that are waterproof because I've been in so many places that have a couple inches of water or a room's flooded or something, and having wet feet is the worst. So having some waterproof boots is can never go wrong with that. Having a decent flashlight. Yeah.
Nice. Definitely. Like, I love talking gear because everybody has their own little, like, critiques of items and their own like, collection of things that they bring into places. And like what you mentioned about tripods, like some people love them and rely on them, and other people like yourself, like you could care less about a tripod unless you like absolutely need it. So can we talk a little bit about the mentality of an urban explorer? Like, why do you do this?
For me, I don't, it's kind of like just getting to see stuff that most of the world won't ever see or won't get to see. Cause you never know what you're walking into, and most people don't go into these places. So it's kind of cool being one of the only people to see these things, and, just seeing the decay and how they got that way. And it's just intriguing to me. And I love the shots you can get, some of the stuff you see in the abandoned buildings you can't see anywhere else. So yeah, it's kind of the mystery of it and being able to see things that most people never get to.
Absolutely. And then do you have any urban exploration injury stories?
Not really. Nothing major. A few cuts here and there, like normal stuff. I almost got a nail through the foot a couple of weekends ago, but luckily it was a shorter one, and it was just it didn't break the skin. But yeah, no, nothing too crazy. I usually try to be pretty careful. My foot did go through a floor the other day, but I didn't get hurt or anything. So yeah, I usually try to watch where I'm going, and I'm usually pretty careful with what I'm doing when I explore. So nothing big yet. Hopefully there won't be anything.
Yeah, hopefully we've heard some stories on this show about like crazy things that happen, people falling through floors or ceilings or getting impaled.
Yeah.
There's been some crazy stuff on this show,
Yeah. I've heard pretty much every episode. So yeah, I've heard some of those stories.
Yeah, you know it. You
Yep.
know it. And then what's the longest amount of time you've spent in a bando?
I would say probably 6 or 7 hours. We went to one place that it's out. It's about an hour from St. Louis, but it's out in the middle of nowhere, kind of.